Hi, welcome to my channel 10 Years Younger. Today's video is on the golden ratio. How to measure physical beauty whether you're male, female, black or white. Once you understand this, you can avoid getting any filler which will look fake. You can select a new pair of glasses, a new haircut, a new makeup scheme, or even plan a hair transplant, knowing it will suit your face and you will maintain that balance and perspective. The ancient Greeks developed the golden ratio of phi, which is a measure of physical perfection based on measurements of facial features. This was taken up again during the Renaissance, where artists such as Michelangelo created their masterpieces based on this ideal calculation of beauty. So what has this got to do with today? Well, if you take modern celebrities who are considered attractive, such as Beyonce, Kim Kardashian, Rihanna, Brad Pitt, guess what? Using these ancient calculations, they score nearly 100%. So it goes to show that this is still very relevant today in how we rate attractiveness. Studies have also shown that babies tend to fix their gaze on faces with a perfect golden ratio. So you can't even say that society is trying to impose an ideal of beauty on us. It seems to be innate. So if you're thinking about getting some dermal filler on your lips or your cheeks or any other kind of procedure, having a physical scale of beauty and proportion to work with would be really helpful. So you can get a treatment which enhances your beauty rather than detracting from it. It's very hard to be objective when we're talking about ourselves and the face that we see in the mirror every day. There are so many people walking around with gigantic lips and cheekbones which are completely out of proportion with their faces. Many beauticians and people administering injectables don't have any idea about proportion and balance, especially in the UK where this industry is largely unregulated. If you meet a doctor or a beautician with, enormous lips and cheekbones out here, you really want to run a mile. You don't want to let them near you because they've obviously lost that sense of proportion in their own face, so they won't have that important judgment when it comes to doing a treatment on you. So you can't necessarily trust the judgment of others when it comes to filler, getting a haircut or a hair transplant. So it's vital that you understand the proportions of your own face, so you'll always have that perspective before you even set foot in a clinic or a hairdresser. Take a photo of yourself not smiling, hair back off your face on your phone, and then print it out on an A4 sheet. If you've got Photoshop, you can also use the measure tool to do this. We're going to start off generally with the face shape. So if you take the measurement from your hairline to the bottom of your chin, and then you take the measurement from the widest point of your face, you divide the length by the width, and the ideal measurement is 1.6. If you get 1.6, it means you have a perfect face shape. So that basically means that the length of your face is 1.5 times the width. Next thing is to divide your face into 3 segments. So your hairline to the point between your eyes to the bottom of your nose, and your nose to the bottom of your chin. Now each of these segments should be perfectly equal to get the 100% score. Now with me, this lower section is much wider than the others. So what that means is that I would have plenty of room. If I wanted to have lip augmentation, I can, go quite big while still maintaining proportion. What I wouldn't want to do is grow a long beard, because that would make this lower section even longer. So do you see what I'm saying? You can work out what will look good on you. For example, if your forehead section is much bigger, you would maybe want a fringe or bangs to kind of even that out. Okay, so on a perfect face, the length of your ear would be the same length as your nose. On my face, it's pretty much the same. The width of your eye should be the same as the distance between each eye, and that's more or less the case for my face as well. If you measure the length of your nose from the widest point at the nostril, and then if you measure the width of your nose at its widest point, so you divide the nose length by the nose width to get your nose ratio. If it's bigger than 1.618, then you divide 1.618 by your nose ratio. If it's smaller than 1.618, then you divide your nose ratio by 1.618. So my nose score is 64%. So I'm not planning on getting a nose job, But the interesting thing is that if you were planning on getting one and then it worked out that your score was 95%, then that may boost your confidence and it may, deter you from getting it. You see how this works? Hopefully this is helping a lot of you who may be unhappy with your features to see maybe it's not as bad as you think. So next is eyebrows. So measure your eyebrow from the end nearest the nose to where the arch starts in a straight line. That's your arch length. Then you measure your eyebrow from the same end to the opposite tip in a straight line. That's the full length. Okay, so divide the full length by the arch length to get your eyebrow ratio. If it's bigger than 1.618, then divide 1.618 by your ratio. If it's smaller than 1.618, then divide your eyebrow ratio by 1.618. Okay, so that will give you your percentage score for your eyebrow fee. Now for lips, you measure the length of your lips from end to end and you divide that by your nose width at the widest point. Okay, so the perfect score should be 1.6. My score is 1.05. So again, if I was thinking about getting lip augmentation, then I would have plenty of room to work with. However, if you had a really high lip score already, then you'd maybe want to think twice about adding more volume, because it would put this area out of proportion. You often see people who get a tiny bit of lip filler and then, they have it and they love it, they feel more attractive, they have a huge boost in their confidence and they feel great and they go back and they want to get more. So bigger lips become linked to their self-confidence. They want to go bigger and bigger and proportion tends to go out of the window. There's a detachment from how they see themselves and the rest of the world sees them. So I want to show you an example of someone who was in a boy band in the 90s. He was a gorgeous guy, and here is an image of his lips then. I'm not going to show you the whole photo because I'm not trying to embarrass anyone or be bitchy or nasty or anything like that. So this was him before, and then this is him after. So he came on TV a few months ago and all I could see was lips. Before I could see who it was, all I could see were these huge lips. It could be that he keeps going back to his clinic saying, I need more, I need bigger, I need bigger. Or it could be that the person doing the injection is actually saying, no, you need bigger. But one way or the other, there's been a slight loss of a sense of proportion here. So what about individuality? I personally like strong noses and strong features, and many others will see the beauty in features like that, regardless of this golden ratio. I liked the noses of Cher and Barbara Streisand and even Lisa from Steps before they had surgery. I don't think there was any need for them to get the surgery to try to conform. What's wrong with having a feature that stands out from everyone else? This golden idea of beauty can only exist if it's not been attained by everybody, because once everyone looks the same, then it gets a bit boring. If we all had this beautiful golden ratio, then probably Leonardo da Vinci would have painted the Mona Lisa in a different style. So I want to mention an experiment which was done on a BBC documentary, which I'll link below. So they had a group of 8 women and they all had their photos taken, and then they were allowed to choose any cosmetic procedure they wanted. Then they had the photos taken again. So a randomly selected crowd from the public was asked to come and rate these photos, the before and after, for attractiveness. But the feedback was that the before images had more individual character and the after images seem to be homogenized and they all look very similar. So society agrees on what and who is attractive. So the job of a surgeon or a beautician is to try to bring people up to that level and in a way making everyone look the same. The interesting thing is that the after images were only rated marginally more attractive by the public. However, the actual women who had the treatment, they felt hugely more attractive. So someone having filler may feel much more attractive than others are actually seeing them. And the other thing is that all these women who had the treatment had a huge increase in the amount of time they spend thinking about their appearance, how they look, the importance of how others think they look. So having one treatment may lead to an individual wanting more and more treatments. And there's also a risk that you lose that perspective on how you look to others. I mean, if you think about someone like Michael Jackson, in my view, he looked much better before he went down the plastic surgery route, but obviously he felt a lot better, or else he wouldn't have done it. So as a conclusion, in a world where we're bombarded with idealized images of celebrities and advertising and social media, it's normal to want to replicate that in our own appearance. But understanding the proportions of your face will ensure you make the right decisions and look as attractive as possible. But also don't forget that cosmetic procedures are not the only way of changing the proportions of your face. As I mentioned, hairstyles, new glasses, guys can grow beards, you can play around with makeup, there's other things you can do. So love yourself, love your features, and thanks for watching. Please comment below and let me know what you think of this video, because it's slightly different from the normal videos that I do. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you next time.